This is Driving with Myles. This is Driving with Myles. I'm a state certified instructor. I teach teens and adults. I've been doing driver's ed 21 years. I do DMV test prep, road test prep. I teach segment 1 and segment 2. So we're going to go ahead and discuss these things at the end. I need you to give this a thumbs up. And if you feel this brings you value, subscribe to my channel. So we're going to go over some last minute DMV written test prep. From getting in the car, taking your test. A lot of people do things at the last minute. Try to schedule the test earlier in the day. People are energized, they have their coffee, they're more lighthearted. As the day goes on, people get tired, they get irritable, they might be less forgiving once you get into the car and you make driving errors. You will make driving errors. No one is perfect. You just want to minimize those errors. Number 2, you want to be observant. You want to be observant of your family, of your friends. How do they drive? Do they drive fast? Do they drive slow? Are they driving with the speed limit? Are they turning hand over hand? Are they palming the wheel? The family is the first teacher. So you always want to talk to your mom, talk to your dad, talk to your cousins. How do you turn? How do you parallel park? Can you show me uncle? Can you show me auntie? So I have a really big family, so my cousins have taught me a lot about driving. Review that official DMV handbook. When I go live, I have a lot of questions about, well, can I do this? Can I do that? Every state of province has different rules and expectations, just like if I was up in Quebec. There are different rules and expectations up there. If I was in Alaska, if I was in Australia, if I was in the UAE, every location is different. So you really owe it to yourself to study that DMV handbook. Get a good night's sleep. That is super important that you rest and you prepare yourself mentally for this test because it is a mental test. It's not a physical test. You just want to make sure you're tight in your fundamentals, you're tight in the hand-over-hand steering, you're good at understanding the rules of the right of way, you understand good speed control, you're a defensive driver. I'm just giving you some tips that I want to see all of you do. Why? Because all of you are the next generation drivers. Hydrate. Get some water, get some Gatorade, get something in your system, get some fuel. Because if you have food in your system, you're going to perform better. Read each question fully and thoroughly. It's not a race. I've seen students struggle on tests because it's the preparation. In my class, I do Kahoot, I do Quizlet, I do a number of reviews. I have a lot of digital resources. So you need to use those resources to help you and really prepare yourself mentally. Use multiple choice test strategies. Read all of the answers thoroughly through. When you take a driver's education test, it's theory. You're in a car. You need to analyze the questions and pick the best answer for the situation. Stay relaxed during the test. Don't stress. Be patient. Take your time. Your parents will be in the back with you when you're on the road after you do your parallel parking maneuvers. And for some teens, that's a little bit stressful, right? I went through it with my daughter. I was in the back. She got a few errors here and there, but it was fine. I was the one who was all stressed out. My daughter was like, Dad. So you can understand what I'm saying. I'm going to read some frequently missed test questions for you guys and, hopefully give me some feedback. When two vehicles meet at a steep mountain road, whether neither can pass, which vehicle has the right of way? It is the vehicle traveling uphill. That vehicle has the right of way. So if you're on the opposite side, you have to yield, let that vehicle come over. A diamond-shaped sign on a truck means that the truck is carrying dangerous or hazardous materials. You always need to watch those trucks because I always have a dream of a gas truck just exploding in a big ball of fire, right? But you got to really be aware of those signs. And if you're not out and you haven't really had a lot of experience, for me, an experienced driver has 10 years or more experience, right? So you got to watch, where are you? Drivers tend to fall asleep sometime. They're traveling on the road. So don't tailgate those trucks. Give them room. Okay, you should reduce your speed by half when the road is packed with snow. That's a hazardous condition. You don't want to lose control of your car. You need to reduce your speed. Your following distance should be increased. Your stopping distance will be increased. So listen to my words: increase, decrease. You need to remember those terms. The risk of driving impaired begins to rise noticeably when the blood alcohol level, or BAC, is 0.05. Now, that varies from location to location to location. If you like this content, give me a thumbs up. When parking facing uphill on the right side of the road to the curb, you should steer away from the curb. I have a lot of questions when I go live about parking uphill, parking downhill. You've got to know which way you are. When stopping behind another vehicle on a hill, you should stay back at least one vehicle. You have to have room. You need to know what's going on. You need to be able to see. If you double your speed on a highway, your braking distance increases by 4 times, because the faster you go, the more time it takes you to slow down. So you always want to remember that the faster you go, the more time it takes to slow down. The right of way. I love these right of way questions. The right of way must be yielded to emergency vehicles using a siren, a red light, blue light, or white light. It varies on where you live in the world. But when that emergency vehicle comes, you must yield the right of way. Most cases in North America, we have to pull over to the right. Other parts of the world where they drive on the left, it varies. When should you yield on a green light? When turning left. You've got to yield to oncoming traffic. Wait for a big gap. If you don't know what a gap is, look at my content. I talk about gaps. I talk about space. Keep that space. I'm going to read a few more questions. If you like these questions, give me a thumbs up. I have plenty of them. If your vehicle is equipped with anti-lock brakes, this means the computer controls the braking. You don't have to pump the brakes. When they engage, it's important to keep, it's important to keep your foot on the brake, because the computer will release and pump, so your car doesn't skid. Okay, that's a good question. Definitely a good test question. When adjusting your seat, you should allow 10 inches between your chest and the steering wheel. You never want the steering wheel up in your chest or in your face, because you have an airbag. It can break your rib cage. It can split your chin. You really have to be careful with airbags. And that's really important for beginning drivers. I literally get out of the car, I set up the car for my students, and then they have really good turns. So that's a really good point. To stop on ice with a vehicle without, keyword, without ABS, you should pump the brakes. Okay. When you start up your car on the dashboard, you'll have a little circle that says ABS. That tells you that your car has anti-lock brakes. You are required by law to yield the right of way to all the following except vehicles with blue, green, or amber lights. You notice these rules of the right of way. They can be really tricky. And when you do your license renewal, I believe there are 21 questions or 25. You've been driving 10 years, and every 4 years, you've got to renew your license. It varies. Imagine you failed your license renewal. You're like, oh my God, how embarrassing. But you got to really prepare yourself for that, and you got to review. Okay, prior to entering the roadway from an alley. Alley is the secondary street. The main road has the right of way. You must first come to a complete stop. You got to stop. You got to look left. You got to look right. You got to know where cars are. You got to know where pedestrians are. And if you've seen some of my content, and hopefully you have, and you need to subscribe, we do a lot of downtown driving. And I explain the hazards to your left, the hazards to your right, so you're prepared. And I think once you understand me and appreciate me, you'll say, wow, man, driving with Myles, this guy really explains a lot of information, because I'm passionate. Okay, I'm gonna hit a couple other questions, and then I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. So let's listen. You are parked on a downhill slope. It is a one-way street, and you're parked against the curb. Which way should you turn your front wheels? It's to the left. Again, I get a lot of questions on this. You got to visualize your car. Is your car uphill? Is your car downhill? You got to know which directions you need to turn your wheels. When entering a freeway, love this question. When entering a freeway from an acceleration lane, you enter the freeway. Now you're down at the bottom. That's your acceleration lane, that long straight part or curved part. You got to get your speed up. You got to get your speed up to match the expressway speed. And that's an area where students struggle. They might go too slow. They might go too fast. They don't check their blind spot. They grip the wheel and jerk it. I've been there. So let's review. I'm a state certified driving instructor. I teach teens and adults. You know, I'm very passionate about teaching driving. I'm blessed to be in this position. I've been teaching 21 years. Thank you for giving the thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, Driving with Myles. God bless you and thank you and have a great day. Love you guys.